In this tutorial, I'm going to get you familiar with the checklist in Tradecraft. If you've not watched the overview video, I highly recommend it. The checklist in Tradecraft is beyond a checklist. While it can perform simple checklisting procedures, it can get more complex where you can use it to tag your trades as well as build full trading systems with it. In order to find it, you need to go to the settings section on your dashboard. Click on checklists. You're going to click add checklist to create a new one. You can double click to name it whatever you would like. Tutorial 1. And if I would like to add another, I will do that by clicking here, and we will do tutorial 2. As you can see, there are several different tabs off to the right here. The play button starts the checklist procedure. Now, since we just created this checklist, it has nothing in it other than a question and answer node, which we will go over later in this tutorial. However, your checklist will look like this when you start. As we can see, there's a new question here and a new answer. If we answer by clicking the tab, we can see it goes to the end of the path. If I would like to start the checklist procedure over, I can click this arrow again, which it'll continue to reset it. This arrow does the same thing as well. However, I can make multiple checklists within this master checklist node. So I can make several sub checklists. If I answer a question and I want to go back in the checklist, I press this back arrow. If I have several checklists here and I don't want to see certain ones, I can press this X. It'll go away. In order to bring it back, however, you must press the play button up here. Now we can see that every time I click on this new answer, it's counting. It says 6 right here. This right here will reset the counter. So you can count things such as how many times the top of a range is being tested or a VWAP band. In order to reset the counter, you can hit this button up here. As you can see, it had been reset. It's now down to 1 right here. Now you have this toggle limited answer summary right here, which currently will not work. This is going to be a more advanced feature we will show later in other tutorials. There's an edit button here, which allows us to come in and actually start building out the checklist, which it's built using nodes. Now what I can do is hit this X button to go back. We will do this here a little bit later. You also have these arrows here, which tutorial 1 and 2 will be switched, so I can press this down arrow to move tutorial 1 below tutorial 2. When I run the checklist here, you can see there's an arrow here. This will expand or drop down the actual checklist, so you can sort of hide them. So as we can see, tutorial 2 and 1 are above each other. Now, you're most likely not going to be running your checklist in the settings section. You're going to be doing it through the daily journal tab up here, so daily trades. Click a dummy trade by adding the plus button here. You can see tutorial 2 is above tutorial 1. However, we're limited on tabs right here. It only goes up to the edit mode. So when we go back into the settings section, we can see the arrows are not included in the daily journal. The eyeball icon and the garbage can is not included in there as well. We'll move tutorial 1 above tutorial 2. Come back in here and you can see it is above. You can run the checklist like so. Collapsing it. Coming back into the settings section, we can hide our checklists. You might have several checklists and you may need to hide some of them, so that way you don't have too much clutter on your daily trade section. So you click this eyeball, you can see the eyeball closes as though it is not looking or being seen, and you can see it is gone from here. So tutorial 2 is not there. However, it is simply hidden. Come back in and it is back. Going back to the settings section, we can delete. Now, if you delete this, it is gone forever, so I do recommend you be very careful with that. We'll go into the edit mode, and I'm going to go over all of these toolbars here. So you will be met with 2 defaulted nodes. The question node will have a solid border around it. The answer node will have a dashed border. There is a reason that we have constructed this in a question-answer format. Through rigorous testing, that's how this all got figured out. Now up here we have the play button, which will immediately start the checklist. So if I X out of that checklist, go into the edit mode, press this play button, you can see it starts it. That play button and this play button are pretty much the same exact play buttons. Coming back in, we have the clear canvas, which will get rid of those nodes. Now we can bring those nodes back by pressing Control Z. And we also have arrow functions up here as well to go forward and backwards in how we're editing this. You can also press Control Shift Z to redo. So Control Z for the back arrow, Control Shift Z for the forward arrow. You can use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out like so. This is the canvas. Now, let's say you're editing in here. You have this tab right here called Fit Content to Screen. You can click it, and it'll make sure all of the nodes you've created are shown on the screen. So if you're editing somewhere like over here and you want to look at the entire trading system, you can press this button, or you can press F, and it'll also do that as well. Hold the space bar down to move around the canvas. Holding and dragging the left mouse button brings up this blue box, which allows you to highlight nodes. As you can see, they are glowing blue on the background. That's telling us what is highlighted, so we can move it by pressing left click on the mouse and moving it around. I can highlight multiple nodes, and I can click anywhere in this blue box to move them around like so. Up here we have the question node with the Q. We can see it created a new question. Up here we have an answer node. We just click that, and there is your answer node. There is another node called the pass-through node right here. You can see this one looks a little funny. It has no text in it. This is a more advanced node that we will go over in later tutorials. You have your alignment tools here. So this is aligned horizontally. So if I highlight these three nodes, I can click here. It'll align them horizontally. This is aligned vertically. Now be mindful when you click this because it overlapped all of them vertically. Again, Control Z, we can undo that. So the alignment vertical, we'll zoom out with the mouse wheel. We can highlight all of these, align them vertically. This is restored to default sizes, so you do have a few features in the nodes when you actually click on them. You can see the node is empty. When you click on it, it shows a play button, a copy button, an X, a plus, and this expand. Your pass-through node also has a few tabs in it as well, and your answer node does too, which it's a little bit different in the answer node from the question node. When you click on this and expand the size by dragging it around like so, you can click this and it'll bring the default size back in like so. These are the default sizes, so we can click on that. Back to normal. There's a copy button up here. So we can copy this. We can click on the clipboard, which is paste. We can see that has been pasted. Alternately, we can do this where we highlight all of them and press Control C, Control V. And as you can see, we've cloned them. And the layout on how they are with each other will be exactly the same. So we can press Control V again, and we can continue to do this copy and pasting like so. If I would like to delete these, I can highlight those specifically and just press the delete button. Now let's go over the nodes in here. If you double click on the text, you can add whatever you would like. So we could put a question, are we in a range? I can do the same thing with the answer node. I can double click the font and press yes. If we press the play button up here, we can see it now says, are we in a range? And we can click yes. This is the beginnings of our first checklist. We can go into the edit mode and we can add another answer node right here. You can see it says new answer. We can type no here. And then as you can see, there are these orange dots on these nodes right here. If I click on the orange dot, I can drag it and connect it like so. press the play button here. Are we in a range? Yes. It's the end of the path. I'll press play again. Are we in a range? No. We can see we're hitting the end of the path. We are reaching the bottom of the checklist. You can see there is a play button on the question node. We can see the checklist starts over, so we'll hit this end of path, come back in, click this play button, and now it has started over. We'll press no. It is simply the same function as this arrow here. So this arrow here and this arrow here are the same in the sense that they are responsible for this sub checklist. This arrow up here and this arrow up here starts all of your checklists over, as you can create multiple checklists. For example, we'll copy this, paste it. We have 2 checklists, and we'll put this one as, are we in a trend? Click the play button. Both of them, there are now 2 sub-checklists up here. Pressing yes here, clicking this arrow, starts this specific checklist over. Clicking on both of these checklists, we're at the end of the path. If we click this arrow, it starts both over. Same thing with this. We press no here, come in, and if we press this play button here, we can see that it starts this one over. We'll go ahead and delete this. Now we can group them. You'll see this group will be highlighted. I can name it whatever I would like, so we will name this range, and now we can see we have a group. This allows us to more neatly organize our subsystems. The actual group function does not do anything to the way the checklist works. It's simply a way to highlight specific subsystems, because at some point as you build this, it can be very big and elaborate, and this border will help you identify certain systems like the range system here. If we clone it and then we make this one the trend, like so, we can group it and then put trend. This allows us to identify the subsystems. And when we zoom out, you can see the font is large, so we know what that subsystem is. It also allows you to click anywhere in the box, and it just makes dragging these around a lot easier. You don't have to highlight the whole thing like so. If you do that, it will also work. Now, if you click on one of these nodes, it will take the node out. Now you can go from one group to the next like so. In order to get rid of the group, you can click this X button. It'll get rid of the group outline, or alternately, you can highlight the outline and just press delete. You have a copy button here, which will copy the exact node. You have an X button here, which will delete the node. You have the same thing on your answer nodes as well, copy, and then you can exit. If you highlight multiple and press copy, it'll copy both of them. If you highlight multiples and press X, it will only delete the singular node. There's a plus button here. This will add a new answer with the arrow already attached. So instead of you creating a new answer node from up here and then attempting to connect it with arrows, it just saves some mouse clicking. When you press the plus button on the answer node, it'll go straight into a question node. So they start to alternate question, answer, question. Delete those. Obviously, you have the expand and contract. That is everything inside the question node. We'll put it back to the default size. Now, there are a few things here with the answer node that are different than what's inside the question node. For one, you don't have the play button, so you can't start the checklist procedure from an answer node. You have this tag button right here, which will add a tag. Currently, we do not have any tags, so let's go create one. In the tags, new tag group, we'll name it ranges. We'll make it exclusive. We'll put yes for we are in a range. Create. We'll add no for we are not in a range. Create that. So we have our range tags. If we go to the checklist, edit, we can click this and add our tags. Now these are exclusive right now. We'll add the no tag here. So you have yes and no. We'll come out of that. We'll go to our daily journal section. We have our tags down here. So these are exclusive tags. You can only click one or the other. So if we run this, the moment we click on our checklist, it'll tag it. We'll start the checklist procedure over. And then when I hit the no, it'll alternate to the no right there. Start the checklist over. Yes. Start it over. Yes. So you can see it'll tag the trades for you, which is really awesome in my opinion. Let me show you what the checklist does when we remove exclusive tags. So going back into our tags, we'll edit the group, take off this exclusive, and when we run the checklist, so let's delete that, get another dummy trade in. So you can see I can highlight 2 tags at once. Exclusive only allows you to do the one, where taking off the exclusive allows you to do multiples. So when we run the checklist, we can see that yes is there, and then we'll run it again. And if we click no, the no will also highlight. If you have a problem with your checklist where it's tagging things wrong, you can always adjust your actual tags from here by just clicking what you think needs to be in there. We know users enjoy having the option to tag multiple tags in one specific group. So you have the ability to do that as well with your checklists. The next thing you can do is add an image to it. For example, since we have yes range, I'll draw a range and I'll take a screenshot. We'll go in here, paste from the clipboard. And you can see there's a screenshot here as well. And for the no, I'll draw a red circle, and what we'll do is we'll cross it out, take another screenshot here. Now they're going to be like a square shaped thumbnail that can fit in there. Paste from clipboard. So we can see we have the 2 screenshots. When I'm running through the actual checklist like this, press play, we can see the screenshots will show up. This allows us to take pictures and have some sort of visual reference of what it is that we're trying to achieve with our checklist, as some of us are going to be very visual people. So are we in a range? What does that look like? Yes, it looks like that picture. Same thing here. Are we not in a range? No, it will look like that picture. Now the images won't show up on your actual tag area. If you want, you can delete them. Pretty simple actually. So all you do is click on the image, remove the image, and you can see it is gone. Same with this one as well. You can also drag the screenshot in as well, and we can see they're gone. Another thing you can do is click on this like so, and you can see there's a color picker here. We'll make it white, and then we'll do this one green. So there's a color picker on the answers, green, and then we'll do this one red. So when we run the checklist, you can now see the outline of the box is white. And then each of the nodes are now green and red as we picked. As you can see here, this one is all grayed out because we've not picked any custom colors. We can come in here and make this one yellow. If we press play, we can see the outline is yellow where the yes, no is still gray. Coming back in, we can choose whatever colors we would like. So for those of you who are big into colors, this will help you. So we have the blue and the pink. So we'll run it, and then you can see it has all of the colors that we've chosen. You can see that blue yes is there. Then we have the no, blue yes, and then we have the no's. Now there are these other more advanced toggles like this global starting node, prevent merging, clear summary, reset summaries. You can see these are adding icons in here. This is all going to be very advanced stuff that we'll have to get into in another tutorial. So we're going to skip these for now. You do have an ability to export it as a JSON, so you can export it and then you can import the JSON. So if you're building a checklist, you can share it with your friends. You guys can develop a trading system together, or if you're taking an online course, you can build that course into a system in here and share it with each other. You do have the ability to back stuff up, so I can put in first save here, add it. So let's say we're deleting things and maybe I log off for the night, come back on, and I want to go to a backup. All I need to do is click this and it will go back to the way I had it. If you want to delete your backup, you simply just click the garbage can. As you're developing your trading system, this backup will be very important because you might get too far and start breaking things, as you can get very elaborate with this. The next thing I want to go over is how we can actually arrange these. So you can see the "Are we in a trend" is on the right. Anytime we run the checklist like so, if I press play, the checklist defaults like this. Maybe we want to rearrange it. So all you need to do is just click up here and drag it over, and the checklist will now be rearranged. If I start the checklist procedure over, we can see the yellow one is now to the left. Even if I go into the journal, add a dummy trade, run the checklist, you can see it is like that. You can also rearrange it from the daily trade section as well. So we'll answer something and press play, and you can see it has been rearranged as there is memory with that. You can also rearrange the order of this yes, no. Now, unlike dragging this around like so, you physically cannot drag the answer nodes in this section. However, if we come into the edit, so whatever is the freshest node or the newest node you created will be at the bottom of the checklist, and the oldest node you created will be at the top of the checklist. So what do I mean by that? So the first node I made on this was yes. Are we in a range? And the second node I made was no. So if I come in and edit, we'll copy this because I want to rearrange it. I want the no to be above the yes. We'll get rid of this. This no node is now older than this yes node. So since this is the older node, it will now be prioritized to the top. So if we put it in like so, press play, you can see the no is now above the yes. We'll do the same thing over here. Notice the yes is above the no. If I would like to rearrange that, simply come into the edit. What I'll do is copy and paste this because I want to keep the same node. I want to keep the same color. I just want to rearrange it. Come in here, just get rid of it, and we'll put it back in the exact same spot. Now notice over here I kind of rearranged them. I put the no to the left and the yes to the right. That's not how that works. When we do this, you'll notice the no will be above on both of the checklist. As you can see, the no is now above. So if we flip these around like so, just so you know, simply rearranging this yes will not be prioritized. You can see it is still on the bottom. Again, to show you one more time, I'm going to do this a different way. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste the no node, get rid of the old one, bring this back up here, reconnect it. This is now the older node. This was created before this node. When we copy and paste it, it'll change. We'll press play. Now you can see the yes is above the no. I'll create a new node in the middle. We'll put maybe, question mark. Are we in a range? Maybe, I'm not sure. We'll make this yellow. And let me bring these over here like so. And I'll just align them. So ideally I want yes to be above maybe, then no. So I'll press play. Notice the maybe is below the no. So all I need to do is come in here, edit it, simply copy and paste that. Get rid of it here. And then it'll be fixed. Yes, maybe, no. It's very simple. There's another trick I would like to show you. Let's say we have another question node and I want to connect these answers here. Well, instead of dragging them one at a time like so, this could take forever, right? There is a shortcut for that. So we'll delete these, highlight all of them, click here, and they will all come out the bottom and connect for you very quickly. Very convenient. Now, if we want to, we can come out the sides. So whatever side of the node I'm clicking on, that's where the arrows will come out on all of the nodes. So as you can see, all these nodes are coming out of the sides of the boxes here. Some of you may want to build your checklist from left to right. Some of you may want to build it top to bottom. So this gives you the ability to do that. Let's not forget, we have the horizontal align here just to fix things. I will see you guys in the next tutorial.